I started painting in London in 1999. I was painting all my life since I was a child, really. It was my preference to paint as a child. But I started consciously making large-scale paintings in 1999 while I was still working in the fashion industry. I was wanting to make large-scale paintings to recapture that big cinematic feeling, the feeling that you get in the cinema when you see the large figure coming onto the screen. I just take enormous pleasure in the act of painting. There's many painters that maybe prefer to concept and then give a group of assistants the job of creating the canvases, which I think is also equally valid, but is not where my head's at. You know, I'm much more interested in the process of painting. I enjoy creating the canvas, the actual stretching process of the canvas and the preparation. I even like sizing the raw canvas, which is something I do, because to me the painting is a complete process. It's almost like a meditation on something in itself anyway. The touching the wooden stretchers and stretching and creating the surface that you're then going to work on. I mean, there's nothing more satisfying than creating a perfect surface and applying the first layer of paint on the surface, and once the colour starts to take, it's a wonderful thing I've always really loved. My link with Japan began before my paintings, because when I was travelling for research, I was intoxicated by the strangeness of Japan, and the more I researched and developed, the more interesting it became. So it was a very nice and lucky moment in my life when the Celux Group, part of LVMH in Japan, saw my work and invited me to make a show in Omotesando. There's a few things in life that give you pure pleasure. You know, a few of them are quite obvious, and a few of them for me are, you know, the riding of motorcycles and the application of paint. Yeah, I think they are both connected because they're both quite solitary. You have to do them alone. I'm not a solitary person, so it's a strange dynamic because the things that give me most pleasure are solitary, but really, as my personality is quite sociable, I like the company of people. I'm not like a hermit. I guess it's like an extension of some form of meditation or something. I suppose I've never really thought about it, but I think that that's what it is. I've spent all my professional life in London and worked a long time in London. London was great and super inspiring and a very, very, very important base for me. But I wanted to have a chance to develop my work, and I realised that I needed to change my location if I really wanted to develop my work in a serious way. You have a house and you have a studio and you have a routine, and you know the city very well, and you are almost you're almost asleep, really. That's how I was feeling, like everything. And so I decided I needed to kind of wake myself up a bit, you know, creatively. Because of my love of good weather and motorcycles and this incredible sort of bright light and flatness of colour that you get here, which is what my work is really. My work reflects that kind of that level of light, put it that way, and it just seemed like the perfect match for me. So I decided that I had to get rid of everything in London and bring everything to LA to see what happens. It's like a grand experiment. It's whether you can thrive in that moment of flux, or whether that moment of flux is too chaotic. And what I've realised is I get energy from flux. you know, that change moment gives me the energy. Now, for some people, that change moment is chaotic and stressful and depressing and scary and all that. But for me, it just feels very energetic. And from that energy, I'm hoping some of that energy is going to transfer into my work. You know. So I'm here, I'm working, I'm looking, you know, the new inspiration is coming and the new work's going to develop, and then that will be the building blocks for me to build on. You know, it is in your nature. The permanent flux is a bad thing, but a little bit of change now and again is good. So, but at the moment, I've just had a massive bit of change, so I think I just want to build a little bit at the moment.